going to go ahead and introduce our next speaker, Jordan Morrow. So he's the global head of data literacy at Qlik, where he helps individuals and organizations realize their data and analytical potential by strengthening their data literacy. Jordan leads Qlik's data literacy program across various channels, which has seen a rapid rise in engagement and is now at the forefront of industry thought leadership. Jordan is the co-author of Data Literacy for Kids and is working on his latest book, Be Data Literate. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring Jordan up on our virtual stage. Hello, Jordan.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. I don't see the shirt, but I can hear you.
It's there, I promise.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
You're going to tell us all about how to teach others to be data literate, because I think what most of our audience here today are extremely data literate, and the issue is having that conversation with others. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the stage. I'm going to hop off, and it's all yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And first, I do want to give a shout out to a couple people on the program that I've seen or that I've seen in the comments, and that's Ben Jones. You just saw his video, but I see him very active in the comments, and Valerie Logan, two pioneers in this field who have great resources on data literacy, and their programs are stellar. I highly recommend, if you're not connected with them, to please connect with them. And it's always a pleasure to be able to share the stage with so many great speakers, especially Kirk. He and I go way back. He's one of the first believers in me when I started data literacy years ago. So for me, I think Kate and I go back for years now, and I'm very appreciative for all the times and opportunities she gives me to share some thoughts on data literacy. And particularly today, I want to focus in on that key element of helping others get on board. This is actually one of the top questions that I get from organizations and individuals. How do we get the rest of the organization to buy in? It's very easy to get a group of people who already believe in data, that already believe in analysis, statistics, whatever it may be, to say, yeah, we should be running a data literacy initiative. But when you look at an entire workforce, I'm going to bet 90 to 99% of them do not fall into that boat. It's not their cup of tea. It's not necessarily what they do. They went to school for backgrounds in different areas besides data and analysis. And so the opportunity becomes ours to be a vocal voice on how to empower data literacy throughout an organization. And I was having a conversation the other day with what was basically a chief learning officer, one of the large consulting firms in the world. And he brought up a new term that I want to use today. There's a difference between upskilling and up knowledge, is how he described it. We always think about data literacy and empowering others from this mindset that we're upskilling everybody. Well, first and foremost, we have to understand that data literacy is not a one size fits all. Not everyone needs to learn the exact same skills within data literacy. Now, let me define how I'm using the term data literacy. It's that ability to read, work with, analyze, and communicate with data. So it's got 4 key characteristics that individuals and organizations can use to get better with analysis, with that end goal being how to make smarter decisions utilizing data. And when we think about those 4 characteristics, again, not everyone needs to learn the same. Not everyone needs to build their skill set in the same way. So one of the first things we need to do when we're trying to drive a data literacy initiative, and not just data literacy, but data and analytics, data visualization, all these programs, the first thing we need to set up is what exactly is it we're trying to accomplish. You know, if I were to go march around to every organization that I've spoken to around the world and just say, this is what you need to do it. Without starting around the why behind it, I'm going to lose people very quickly. So when I work with organizations and individuals to drive that data literacy side of things, I always start with the why. What is it we're trying to accomplish? Why are we trying to accomplish that? Some of the things that I teach organizations is to help them understand that a tool is not a strategy. A tool is an enabler. So if you're going around trying to up-knowledge people, which is that first step in bringing awareness, I call it an awareness campaign. We have to understand what is it we're trying to accomplish as an organization. When we've set those expectations, as you can imagine, it is much easier for us to then find the ways to do it. Historically, what I've seen is organizations are buying into tools and technology and then force fitting that on people. And that's going to be a problem because a lot of people are like, why do I even have this? Do I even want to use this? So with this audience, like Kate said, this is a bunch of data literate people. These are people who want to use data. Start off by helping people understand what it is we're trying to accomplish, and maybe most importantly, why we need to do it. Once we've established that pattern throughout an organization, we've brought awareness to that, we then can put a strategy in place. We know what we're trying to accomplish. Now what strategy do we need to put in place to make sure that happens? This is where we start to look at. The third step is arming people correctly. What tools and technology are in place to help people accomplish this? So we have this expectation out there. We then need a strategy. That strategy will include, this is what we're trying to accomplish. This is how we're going to accomplish it. These are the tools that are needed. Yes, we need data quality on the back end. We have so many good people that are attending this event. The classification side with Susan, the Scott, the data whisperer, data classification, data quality, all of these things. That's one aspect of the tools that we need. But then we do need to democratize the data in some manner. Again, if 90 to 99% of a workforce are not data scientists or data analysts, they have to be armed correctly. Tableau, Qlik, Power BI, Alteryx, all these tools are there to arm the workforce correctly. So once we know the why, we then know the what. What are we going to be doing? We then get to the how. How are we going to be doing this? For data literacy to succeed, not only do they need the right tools in place, but they need the right learning in place. If the majority of people are not going to school for these things, that's a problem. So we have to teach them data. We have to teach them how to be comfortable with it. We have to teach them how to make decisions with it. We have to get people on board. You know, Ben, we just saw that commercial right there and the wonderful giveaway he's given. Valerie's program is great. I have a program. These resources are all here for people to consume. But we also have to make sure that it's closing the data literacy skills gap. We can go around all that we want, excited that data and analytics is here, that we have all these tools, the data quality is improving. But if people don't have skills to use that data, none of that will matter. So we have to create programs, holistic approaches of assessing people. I saw that question come through the comments on measuring data literacy. It's not just about measuring data literacy, although that is a great thing that we need to do. We should start by assessing individual skills and comfort in utilizing data. If we can assess an individual's skills and comfort in utilizing data, we will open up so many doors and channels for us to succeed. By saying, hey, you're at this level, let's give you appropriate learning, we are going to make people more comfortable. And I think that right there is one of the key things we need to be doing. Not just sending out, how many of you listening, and you could comment on it or whatever, how many of you like getting an email that says, you have now new mandatory training? Does anybody like getting that email? Unfortunately, that's how a lot of programs are rolled out. You have new mandatory training. We all have busy jobs. So don't just say you have mandatory training, sit with them, understand their skills, their capabilities. This is the difference between up knowledge and upskill. Some people will need to fully be upskilled in their data literacy skills depending on what they're doing. On the flip side though, some people just need to be made aware of what is happening and why. And then the final piece, so those are 4 steps. Let me go through them real quick again. What expectations are you trying to achieve? Create a strategy to achieve those expectations. Arm the employees correctly with the appropriate tools. Close the data literacy skills gap. And then the final piece, and it might be one of the most important, is establish the right culture of data-informed decision-making. I get asked that question a lot. What is the number one roadblock for data and analytics success or data literacy success? And I think people at times are expecting me to say data quality or I can't get access to the data. All of that has nothing to do with that. It is the culture of the organization that you work in. If that culture is ready and willing to absorb data, ready and willing to understand why data matters, and maybe most importantly, when that organization culture has the skills and desire in place to make data-informed decisions, it becomes much easier to roll it out. It's the same thing. How many of us set goals and resolutions or whatever the case may be around fitness or different things? If we're not willing mentally to take it on and make the changes that are necessary, it's going to become a bigger roadblock. So one of the first things I do at an organization before we even get to those steps is I do awareness campaigns. We do workshops, 45 minutes, an hour long, bringing to light why data literacy matters. When we can put those things in place, then it's much easier for the first 4 steps to happen. And then we can create and bring around the entirety of the culture to make these smarter decisions. And again, the resources are out there. You know, I only have 10 minutes today. So connect with me, connect with Ben, connect with Valerie. There are pioneers, Kirk, people in this that are speaking, Miko, connect with us. We all have skills. We all have things out there. And I find the holistic approach with the group of people, with as many of us as possible, there's so many learnings and so many things that can be done to learn. So with that, Kate, I'll put it back over to you and see if there are any questions.
Yes, Jordan, absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for your talk. I think when we played Ben's commercial, LinkedIn comments exploded with hundreds and hundreds of data literacy comments. So that was awesome. Yes, I agree with you. No one really gets excited when they get an email with mandatory training, because chances are they already have 30 other mandatory trainings, and it becomes kind of a, okay, here's another thing I have to do that's not relevant to my job. So it's very important to communicate that message correctly and show the value of data literacy to organizations. We do have a lot of comments and questions. We don't have too much time. So question here from Sneha: what are the skills that you believe someone should build to be able to be data literate?
Yeah, so I think there's two sets of approaches to this. So when I get asked that question, I think a lot of people are like, do I need to go back to school to learn coding? Do I need to go back to school to develop statistics? I tell them, no, that's not where you start. You're going to run into roadblocks very quickly. Two things to start with. One, find an area in data and analytics that you find exciting. If that is coding, wonderful. If it's data visualization, wonderful. It's data storytelling, wonderful. It's the same thing. I go back to fitness a lot. If you're trying to create a fitness regime, you're going to do something you like more often than you do something that you don't like. So find something you're enthusiastic about, and then start with what I've coined as the 3 C's of data literacy. Be more curious. Okay, ask questions of everything coming to you. Ask questions of the things that excite you in the data world. Question and challenge the data that is presented to you on an ongoing basis. I'm fond of saying I want to create a world of data skeptics, not data cynics. Okay, data cynicism is the negative approach. Data skepticism is a healthy approach to data to question it. So be curious, be creative. The power that you possess to use your brain to be creative, data storytelling, data visualizations, all of that, bring your human creativity to the data in front of you. And then the final piece I would say is critical thinking. We're living in a world where critical thinking is in short supply right now in many different cases. We need to get better at literally sitting back and pondering on the data. So the first thing is find something that excites you and dive in, and then practice the 3 C's of data literacy: curiosity, creativity, and critical thinking.
Awesome. And on that note, thank you so much, Jordan. I hope you stick around for the rest of the talks. Great stuff. Stay dedicated.